This is QTV News and I am Jenna Bosonko. Coming up, our top stories. President Barrow strikes an optimistic note on his return from the first ever Russia-Africa summit. As more and more cars occupy our streets, it seems many are past their usefulness and safety dates. We ask, is anyone regulating the trade in second-hand vehicles? Greenpeace Africa hosts an event to raise concerns about the threats to marine life and sustainability of marine resources, especially fish stocks. Those are our top stories, and now the news in detail. Stay with us. Gambian President Adama Barrow has returned from the two-day Russia-Africa summit in Sochi. The summit featured an impressive array of heads of states and ended with bold plans for the future. On arrival at the Banjul International Airport, the president briefed journalists about the summit. Momodu Lamin Choi was there and he now reports.
From a summit that gathered leaders of the African continent, the president of the Gambia landed at Banjul International Airport on Friday evening on board a commercial flight. No parade of ministers or guard of honor by security personnel, after a press release from State House that these ceremonies will not take place anymore. Instead, he was welcomed by the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and Director of the State Intelligence Service. The President expressed hope for opportunities in Africa-Russia partnership, saying Russia has a lot to offer, a sentiment emphasized by the Russian President.
In 2018, foreign trade between Russia and Africa amounted to more than $20 billion. Over the last 5 years, the trade volume has almost doubled. We see diversification of Russian export. Its structure is changing towards non-commodities. Russian companies have been quite successfully working in the region for a long time, mostly dealing with geological service and mineral resources extraction in energy, oil, and gas sectors.
At multilateral diplomatic forums such as this summit, President Barrow acknowledges that it is important for Gambia to take part. Nations like the Gambia are expected to work together and gather support to address their individual national interests. President Putin's introduction at the start of the second day's proceedings outlined the scale of representation at the summit.
I welcome all of you at the Russia-Africa Summit in Sochi, dedicated to cooperation between Russia and Africa. Gathered here today are representatives of all 54 African countries and leading regional organizations.
Asked what the takeaways are for the Gambia from the Russia-Africa Summit, the president expressed that the summit was not about the Gambia but Africa. He adds that his government will be engaging with Russia at bilateral levels for mutual development benefits. However, he didn't mention to gathering of journalists what exactly the Gambia could benefit from the summit.
Russia have a lot to offer as far as development is concerned. We are looking forward to engaging with Russia at the level of Africa and at the level of the bilateral level for the development of both countries.
Both at bilateral and multilateral levels of diplomatic engagements, there is the possibility of investment prospects by Russia in the socio-economic development of the country.
We all know that Russian tourists started coming in the Gambia last year, but few of them came. So we are trying to encourage them to come to the Gambia and visit Gambia. In that visit, we can also further engage with them so that Russian investors can invest in the Gambia. I think this is what we are looking for, basically. During the Africa-Russia Summit, President Vladimir Putin spoke about offering to African countries support in security, health, humanitarian relief, and educational training assistance.
We intend to continue training military personnel and law enforcement personnel from Africa at Russian specialized educational institutions. At the current moment, there are military from 20 African countries studying at universities of the Ministry of Defense of Russia in order to improve combat capability of national armed forces of Africa. We cooperate on military and military technical issues. Russia has signed agreements on military and technical cooperation with more than 30 countries, to which we supply a wide range of armaments and equipment, and some of them for free.
The Russian president went on to say,
I would reiterate, an important area of our cooperation is training and education. There are now more than 17,000 students from Africa in our country, and the annual quota at Russian universities is almost 2,000 people. We will think about how we could increase that number. There are good prospects for our cooperation in medicine and healthcare. We have the R&D Institute of Epidemiology and Prevention of Dangerous Contagious Diseases in the Republic of Guinea. We believe we could also think about establishing another center of such type in Africa.
In the sidelines of the summit, Russia's Minister of Economic Development mentioned possible arrangements with individual countries.
It's a complex approach to the promotion of goods and services in relation to a specific country. Each country wants to get a specific product at the end, which requires financial and construction parts. So a variety of different projects that should be packed into one. So of course, big infrastructure projects come with financing.
The diplomatic race for Africa among the world's superpowers has dominated international politics in recent times, thereby influencing Russia's initiative to join the contest. It is believed that with the right leadership, a win-win diplomatic game can better shape Africa's development. For QTV News, Mohamed Lamin Choi.
The second-hand vehicle business is a lucrative trade that contributes millions to the Gambia's economy. However, there is no restrictions on the age limit for imported second-hand vehicles, unlike other countries. Our reporter Mohamed Lamin Choi takes a look at the impact of used cars and also spoke to the Ministry of Transport.
There is seemingly an increase in the vehicle population in the Gambia, but there is worry and perception that the transportation system is not effectively regulated by authorities. It appears vehicles are imported into the country no matter their age or condition. As a result, the situation seems to be contributing to environmental pollution by carbon emissions, as well as the significant and rising number of fatal road accidents, frequently due to poor condition of these vehicles. Under the National Transport Policy, the ministry has a policy to address the problem. The ministry says that due to the poor conditions of roads and Gambia's economic realities, it will be unwise to implement the policy. If implemented, the policy will impose a 10-year age limit to vehicles imported into the country. Gambia has been registering ever-increasing numbers of fatal accidents in recent times, and this could be linked to a combination of the poor road network, poor vehicle conditions, negligence, unqualified drivers, amongst others. It is becoming an increasingly lethal cocktail of chaos and disaster. The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Transport, Motke Sise, believes that rigorous testing of drivers, the condition of vehicles and regular maintenance can be short-term measures to address problems. The permanent secretary acknowledges that the ministry lacks the right equipment to effectively conduct vehicle and driving checks and tests. This is what the ministry say that they are considering implementing.
We are in advanced talk with global vehicle manufacturers and maintenance service agents to reactivate the Kotu workshop to fundamentally do three things. Introducing a regime of vehicle testing, and actually making it mandatory, maybe annually once or two or even three, depending. Bearing in mind that there must be a value to testing.
Perhaps lowering the tariff on newer vehicles can promote the importation and buying of vehicles that are in good shape or in better shape than is currently the case. The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Works says his ministry is in consultation with the Ministry of Finance to bring this to fruition.
Hopefully, Ministry of Finance will be sensitive to some of the proposals we'll be sending to them this year, including, like I said, the different treatment in terms of tariff application for newer and old vehicles. I think we need to revisit that. The current structure did not give that preference, and therefore perhaps the reason why we still a lot of older vehicles also still come to our markets.
The 2018 UN Environment Africa Used Vehicles Report says Africa imports 4 times more automotive products than it exports. Across the continent, only Egypt, South Africa, Sudan and Morocco imposed a total ban on used vehicle imports. Therefore, the push for a lower age limit is informed by their negative effects on the environment and human health. Countries that have higher life expectancies and safer roads have, on the whole, been those that tolerate fewer of these overage vehicles. Mohamed Lamin Choi for QTV News.
Greenpeace Africa, an international organization focusing on environmental preservation, organized a press conference to publish a report entitled A Waste of Fish. The report is about food security under threat from the fish meal and fish oil industry in West Africa. Babukar C has the rest of that story.
The report raises strong concerns about the expanding fish meal and fish oil industry in Mauritania, Senegal and the Gambia. It also highlighted about 50 fish meal and fish oil factories operating primarily in the Mauritania and more recently in Senegal and the Gambia. The ozone is an important and reliable resource for both economic and social benefits, thus its sustainability needs to be jealously guarded. Mustafa Mane, a consultant for Greenpeace Gambia, states that Gambians did not effect change of government only for freedom of speech.
They are seeing people who are criticizing, against the factory as anti-government, which is never true. Even if we are anti-government, we put the government there. We change the government not to only see a freedom of speech, but to see all these kind of investors out of the country. That's the main reason so many people go to jail, to see this country change. So if they are saying others who are campaigning against the fish meal factory as politicians, then let it be. But the question is, those who are trying to say fish meal, those they are people who are just there for their own interest, but not the interest of the whole community.
Mane further asks why government did not produce a report concerning the pollution in Gunjur, adding that the people of Gunjur have published a report which says the water there is polluted.
The people of Gunjur have made their report very clear. They sent their report to Germany, and the report was published everywhere. Everybody sees the report. And the report says that the water is polluted. But why is it that the government are still hiding their report from people? It's for public consumption. If we are not seeing the report, then it means that they don't do any report. And secondly, before the factory came to Gambia, we haven't seen that water turn to red.
Momodu Semeka Jane, a concerned citizen whose home is not far from the factory, says gas from the factory is making life difficult for him. He disclosed that he is planning to file a lawsuit against the factory owners.
If you hear us taking our time, leaving our businesses to come and attend this, is because of the fact that when the poorer people fall ill, it doesn't bode well for them. I've actually personally paid for people to go for medical treatment in Senegal. But how many times can I do that? Like I said, the hospitals are not here. If something is being done that will put people at risk, all we can do is ring the alarm bells.
Greenpeace is an established movement in over 55 countries across the world. The organization holds peaceful campaign strategies in the protection of the environment, the use of creative confrontation to expose environmental injustice and provide solutions for future benefits. Some communities in the Gambia where fish meal factories are operating do not welcome their establishment, citing what they call the harmful effect on the sea and marine life. Greenpeace Africa seeks to engage the communities and enlighten them of the harmful effects of fish meal industry. Babukar C, QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break. When we return, we hear from the Writers Association about 2 interesting upcoming events, and a civil society organization hosts a forum where it is suggested that the best way to promote peace and stability is to support the president's 5-year mandate. Do stay tuned.
Waa jàng yaa ngi nice de xanaa da ngaa génn.
Génn déedéet jonge si saal jonge si waañ maa ngi tooga.
sa xarit moto yi ak sanse bii nga xam ne mën ma jaaxle suma ndijaay ak xaritam yaa war a ñëw añ si tey te maa ngi nii suma moto yi kër yi ñëpp a tooy xaw ma nu maa def.
man du may toogee mata léegi Oryx gas lay toogee wóor na gaaw na yomba na te it doo si tilim ñaar laa si jënd nag xaaral ma abal la benn ndax nga bañ a naaja.
Oryx gas moog ñun ba faw. Oryx gas mun nga ko am si bépp Atlas station si biir réew mi.
Are you traveling to Senegal from Gambia? Guess what? You can now roam in Senegal like never before. Enjoy the most affordable rates on data and your international and local voice and SMS while in Senegal. QCell and Orange have partnered together to make roaming a breeze. Whenever you roam with your QCell line to Senegal or travel with your Orange number to Gambia, you get to enjoy a new specially discounted tariff on your data and the calls and texts you send locally and internationally. Don't stress about high costs. QCell and Orange have got you covered. Whether it's a quick business trip or a family getaway, you know you're connected anywhere and anytime. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, call 111. QCell, the Gambia's quality network.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. The Writers Association of the Gambia on Saturday organized a press conference in preparation for the upcoming African Writers Week to be held in Dakar, Senegal, and the Pan-African Writers Conference in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. Babukar C has the rest of that.
The conference was an opportunity to brief the press on the activities the Writers Association will be engaged in, leading to the 2 events to be held in November this year. The Writers Association of the Gambia is invited as guest of honor by the Senegalese Writers Association and the Pan-African Writers Association. Moussa Ba, Vice President of the Writers Association of the Gambia, gave us a synopsis of the activities the association will be engaged on. The Secretary General of the Association, Modu Lamin Sow, said part of the 2020 activities is to engage schools to have a nationwide spelling bee competition that will help students in their education. Since its establishment in 2009, the Writers Association of the Gambia have witnessed an increased number of members and in the number of books published by Gambian authors. Babukar C, QTV News.
As part of activities to promote peace and stability in the Gambia, a Citizens Dialogue Forum was organized on Saturday by a civil society organization called Gambia at Work. QTV's Ansumana Isonyasi was there and he now reports.
The day-long event brought together youth and women leaders, politicians and legal personalities. Organizers say it is the duty of every citizen to advocate for a peaceful solution to the prevailing political climate in the Gambia. In doing so, members of the organization expressed their preparedness to defend the president's constitutional 5-year mandate. They also offer their unflinching support for the completion of government's development blueprint. Dr. Henry Carroll gave a lecture on Section 63 of the 1997 Constitution, which he said stipulates that the president shall serve a 5-year term. Dr. Carroll added that the process of removing a democratically elected president is not an easy task.
Section 63(1) of the said Constitution reads, and I quote, "The term of office of an elected president shall, subject to subsection 3 and 6, be for a term of 5 years, and the person elected president shall before assuming office take the prescribed oaths."
Speaking on the need to rise above tribal sentiments, Mambanyek Nyai implored religious and political leaders to call for the promotion of peace in the country.
We have always got to understand that one may choose to either belong to a political party or not, or to associate with a particular tribe or not, but one can always remain a Gambian. And that is key. That is fundamental. It is my hope, though, that we as a people will change the substance of our debate regarding the critical issues in nation building.
Other speakers included Kebanjai and Hadi Jallo, one of the organizers who gave the vote of thanks. Ansumana Isonyasi for QTV News.
Before we end this news bulletin, let's recap our main headlines. President Barrow strikes an optimistic note on his return from the first ever Russia-Africa summit. As more and more cars occupy our streets, it seems many are way past their usefulness and safety dates. We ask, is anyone regulating the trade in second-hand vehicles? Greenpeace Africa hosts an event to raise concerns about the threats to marine life and sustainability of marine resources, especially fish stocks. That is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us same time tomorrow for more news. Thank you so much for your company.